on a mountaintop. Hi, guys, and welcome to season 4, episode 1 of Valley Views. This is your host, Amanda Joy Christensen. If you are listening to my audio series, this is actually episode 83. And if you are joining in from YouTube, it's episode 15. I thought about trying to combine and continue my series to try to put it all into one. But the truth is, I don't care about fitting in. And if you haven't caught on by now, welcome to Valley Views, a show about an opportunity to change your viewpoint around family, hospitality, and Las Vegas. I'm your host, writer, creator, owner, and controversially blacklisted hospitality professional, Amanda Joy Christensen. I moved here at 20 years old, literally knowing not anyone, and deciding that I wanted to grow up in the hospitality industry here in Vegas. Throughout my entire career, I have had the opportunity to work in every aspect of hospitality, from food and beverage to special events to revenue to front desk. And I continue to have spent the last almost 2 years providing an insider journalistic approach to hospitality. Now, I joke, blacklisted. Yes, absolutely. Another one bites the dust. And it's always in the places you're the most honest and vulnerable, where people say it's okay to be yourself, though you often find yourself staring back at a photo wondering, wow, what a liar. That person was completely wrong. And yet, somehow I'm still standing, and the brand and the idea and the vision that God has put into my heart continues to exist. I wasn't going to record this episode this week, but a few things have changed. And as most things in life go, even the best made plans are often interrupted by, abrupt ones that ruin everything. So as another week ends, another opportunity just bites the dust. I have to laugh because I found myself staring at another photograph. And it's always photos that you realize how much time goes by and how much you can actually change as time continues. Las Vegas has always been a city built on images. It's always been a city built on statues. It's always been a city built on icons, creating things that are out of this world. But what I'm doing on Valley Views is creating a real world around topics that people try to dismiss. I find myself constantly on the outside. And it's not for lack of trying. It's always for the lack or the proof of being honest, of people literally staring you in the face and saying, you did the right thing, but everyone else is the exception except for you. You're just someone that doesn't fall into the rule. You're not in the category. You don't have a. So that's what Valley Views is too. My controversial category corner of the internet, where I can literally share whatever I want to the people that continue to listen. Because in a city where I constantly, constantly face rejection, I'm somehow still standing and I have yet to disappear. And I laugh because I'm who I say I am. And yet so many people continue to prove to me that they're all just fake, phony, and frauds. Getting back to that photograph. Did you know around 1717, Johann Heinrich Schultz used a light-sensitive slurry to capture images of cutout letters on a bottle. However, he did not pursue that this result could be something done and be permanent. So it wasn't until the 1800s when Thomas Wedgwood made the first reliable, documented, although unsuccessful attempt at capturing what would later become known as a camera image. His experiment produced what some people would look back on as the very first photogram. But Wedgwood and his associate, Humphrey Davy, found no way to fix these images. Therefore, they gave up. It was in 1826 when Nicéphore Niépce, who knows if I said that right, I just wanted to sound sexy, first managed to fix an image that was captured with a camera. It took him about 8 hours and several exposures in this camera to what would be the birth of a modern day early result of a crude photograph. Niépce's associate, Louis Daguerre, went on to develop the daguerreotype process, which became the first publicly announced and commercialized viable photographic process. The daguerreotype required only minutes of exposure in a camera to produce what would become a clear, fine, detailed result. And it was on August 2nd, 1839, that Daguerre demonstrated the details of the process to the Chamber of Peers in Paris. I told you it was French. And on August 19th, this technical detail was made public for the very first time at the meeting of the Academy of Sciences and the Academy of Fine Arts in the Palace of the Institute for granting the rights of inventions to the public. Daguerre and Niépce were awarded generous annuities for life. When the metal-based daguerreotype process was demonstrated formally to the public, the competitor approach of paper-based collotype negative and salt print processes became invented by Henry Fox Talbot, who had already demonstrated in London the same thing, but very less publicly. Subsequently, both inventions made photography easier and more versatile. Now, with that being said, let's stop and take a moment. What do you do when you're creating something that's yet to be seen? How does the world view the idea of accepting something that doesn't even exist yet? Just like these two men, they had a vision and they had a dream and they had a D. So people took them seriously. And they were able to present a one-of-a-kind idea that defined the way people could educate themselves through art. Similar to what I'm doing on Valley Views, taking controversial topics that people just act like they don't exist, and I'm creating a public forum and an open conversation to challenge the everyday narrative. I joke, but it wasn't until 1850 that this process of photography was even considered, even mastered, and even understood to become something that was state of the art and high quality. It was in the mid 20th century that development was made for amateurs to take a picture in the very first natural color, black and white. The commercialization of digital cameras in the 1990s revolutionized photography and allowed people to capture first-hand pictures live, which caused the ultimate decline of digital cameras, the ultimate decline of film, resulting in digital cameras becoming the cheaper, easiest way to capture an image that can last a lifetime. Now that our cameras have become the standard on our phones, wouldn't you say that the world of taking a photo and posting it online has become a part of everyday life around the world? Just stop and think. There was an entire time where a photograph didn't even exist. And now, inside this little thing called a cell phone, we all have the opportunity to save an image of anyone we meet along the way in our day to day, whether they're important or not. So let me take a moment and get back to that photograph. Do you ever have those days where Google brings up 1 year ago today, 2 years ago today, 3 years ago today, and then you get the flashback, then you get the memory. And most people's Googles, I'm sure, are flooded with happy memories of wonderful moments of people who always continuously stood by them and worked to accept them, even through their darkest, most challenging of days. But not my phone. My phone's funny because it usually holds moments of accolades that I was proud of that to other people meant nothing. And it's funny because the more that I ask for the attention and the lack of attention I'll ever get for just being a human that exists, I really just think I'm the fucking glitch in the matrix. The 0.11111% of just white women that literally for the rest of her life will never be believed, will always be gaslit, and never really have the ability to trust anyone because literally every single person I ever genuinely trusted failed me. They did. And then they just act like I'm dead. Or they send me passive aggressive messages with inspirational quotes that say, "Don't give up, Amanda. You just need a little therapy. You'll be all right." My fucking therapist ghosted me because my problems weren't big enough for him. And then I had a panic attack in the middle of my day. And because my anxiety is something that I cannot hide when I'm triggered by passive aggressive, hostile, and disrespectful people who are full of shit, um, I lost another job. And in a city where everybody talks and somebody's going to make a story up about me, I just realized that if I have to exist in a job environment where it's causing panic attacks because people can do the exact same thing, but if I'm wanting to do the same thing and I'm going to be honest about it and I don't lie and I'm literally dismissed and paid to go away from jobs, I I just like literally don't understand why this system fails me every time. But if I was a man, or if I was a different ethnicity, or if I looked a different way, um, I would be respected more, or someone would have not made up a lie about me that cost me my job. And it's funny because that guy, he's such an idiot because he could literally apologize to me like that's all I want. But instead, I'm just going to continue to talk about this topic because I was reached out to by an organization now in Washington, D.C. that wants to feature me because of the topics that I'm actually speaking on, because there isn't any representation in Washington, in legislation, in government that represents the hospitality worker, but let alone women. So I sit back now and I challenge these men and women in the city that continue to just like act like the impact that I'm having is so minuscule when I know so many people agree with me. I know that inequalities happen every day. I know these things and I speak up about them, and yet I'm the controversial one that is blacklisted. I'm blacklisted. I'm blacklisted because I didn't get the COVID shot. I'm blacklisted because I told everybody that human trafficking is like a huge problem. I'm blacklisted because I stood up against a lie about me, um, that a man and his father made up, said I was trying to solicit their son for sex. I was not. I literally asked this gentleman if he could help me become an entrepreneur and start my own business and put together a business plan because if I had a penis, I would have been allowed because in Las Vegas, when you have a bro club, you're in the club and the bros help the bros. But I'm just a little girl and people don't take me seriously. People don't take me and my vision and my dream seriously. It's just easier to make fun of me and block me and just fire me from jobs and pay me to go away. But yet here I am, willing, able, experienced. I have plenty of knowledge on so many people in the city that it's just it's just funny. Like it's funny to me that no one has tried to even apologize because if you apologize, then you admit that everything that I said is true. And the video that I actually have and the proof that I was blackmailed and lied about because of someone else's stupidity. Um, it's pretty powerful. And, as I get ready to kick off season four, I'm really just going to leave that I sit back and I say what I say, but I never say it out of malice. I say it out of just like proof that I am being purposely left out because people do not like that I've never played the game and that I've always called out the bullshit. And to this guy, it's funny because, like, wow, you're still around. I know you are. And I know you listen to my show. And I know that you have your friends that listen to my show. And I figured out who the mole was, guys. I figured out who was reporting my page and trying to break into it. I figured that out too. And now that I don't have a job again and I have time to continue to just build my brand and research people and do what I do, this season's going to be crazy. I actually have a private event I was hired to work at this month. Oh, sorry, in August. I'm putting together, I just launched my store. I just built out my website tonight so you can hire me for consulting. You can hire me for podcasting. I'm going to be collaborating with two separate journalists, one out of Washington. I have a call this week that is putting me on a list of women. Yeah, you thought the top 10 was great. Thought-provoking women, women that are changing the entire dynamic and conversation of North America. That's me. And to the men that let me down, it's okay. There's 5 or 6 episodes now collectively that put all the pieces together. Doesn't matter. Freedom of speech. Never said names. But that photograph, when I saw that photograph, I stood there and I looked at it. I sent you the email too about the photograph and probably blocked. It's okay. But when I saw the photograph, I stood there in that moment and I thought when I took that photograph, wow, here I am, honored to work alongside someone so brilliant. And then you just did me dirty and sold me out like you did to all the other dumb girls you ever met. And it's just so funny that this is the tactic in business. I'm literally watching someone else I know who's highly professional, who's been a very good person. He's literally being attacked publicly by a narcissist. Um, I will never allow someone to make up a lie about me. And as far as my last situation goes, it's so funny that anxiety is real. The panic attacks I have are real because I tell people that I'm very sensitive to rejection because of the amount of rejection I faced. And then when I continually get rejected or just treated like I don't exist in society, it just fuels my creativeness. It fuels the idea that if I don't matter in Vegas, my voice will matter somewhere else. And it's mattering now in Washington. It's mattering now in Washington. Washington, D.C. So I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Valley Views. By the way, that was a really good photograph. I'm really glad I asked you for the picture. Forever a fan for all the right reasons and not the wrong ones. Catch you guys on the next episode of Valley Views. And bye.